Today we are sewing up the Block Party cardigan. I have all my pieces cut out and ready to go. We have the front and back bodice with the bottom color blocking pieces. We have 4 inseam pockets, 2 cuffs with long sleeves, and 4 bands. So are you ready? Let's get started. So I am adding inseam pockets to this cardigan. The bottom color blocking pieces are going to be this white fabric. So this will be the bottom of the cardigan, and then the 4 inseam pockets are going to be this spotted fabric. So I'm going to begin by laying out my bottom bodice pieces. And then this line here, you can tell because it's straight that this is going to be where the band attaches. So we're going to want to start sewing on the side seam. This is where we're going to attach our inseam pocket. I'm going to place that right side together on both sides of the cardigan. Okay, and you'll notice that the pocket is the same width as the bottom panel, and that's because we're going to catch this side and this side into the side seams, and then the top and bottom are going to they're going to get sewn into the seam of the color blocking pieces. So now that we have that laid out, we're going to measure a 1/2 inch down from the top of each pocket. And I'm going to just mark mine with a pin. So now that we have those 2 spots marked on each pocket, we're going to start sewing from this top point out 3/8 of an inch down the side, and then back to this bottom point 3/8 of an inch. And we're going to do the same on both sides. So we now have our first pocket, the one side attached. I used a gray thread hoping that would be easier to see there, so you could see how those stitches look there. So the next step here is to clip into each corner where you just sewed at a 45-degree angle, just up to your stitch line. Be very careful not to cut through. And you're going to repeat that with both sides. So now we're going to turn our pocket towards the wrong side. And you're going to fold this seam allowance up towards the top, this little, the piece that you just snipped out. Fold that up towards the top, and then you're going to sandwich the front piece over top of that, and it's going to give you this nice sharp angle here. And then we're going to press that, and you're going to do that in all 4 corners. I'll do this up close again. So you fold that seam allowance up, and then the front piece over the top like that. And I'm going to go give those a quick press. So now we're going to take this over to our sewing machine and we're going to stitch from this corner here out and then down along the side and then back to this corner. And you're going to do that with both pockets. So I have both pockets top stitched, and then we're going to add our second pocket on top. And we are going to just align all the raw edges, and then we're going to baste along the top, the side, and then along the bottom here. The side where your pocket opening will be, do not baste that side, just the top, the side, and the bottom. Okay, I'm going to go baste those. Both of our pockets are now basted on. And the next step here is to attach this color blocking piece. So the pocket is going to attach to, pocket opening is going to attach to the side seam here. So make sure that you're grabbing the correct piece, and then we're going to just align this to the bottom edge here. And then just stitch along the bottom edge. So now I have my second color blocking piece sewn on, and after I sewed that, I went over and pressed this top seam here and then just top stitched it really quick. It's totally optional. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. I just did today. So now that we have the front and back done, we are going to attach the color block to the back bodice. You're going to place that right sides together. Okay, and I'm going to just sew that down. We now have our bodice, back bodice attached, and our front bodice pieces attached. So now we're going to stitch the shoulder seam together. So we're going to line that up along the top. Align them right sides together. We're going to stitch the top on both sides. So now we have the shoulder seams sewn, and we are going to attach the sleeve. Ignore the fact that I have different pockets on here. My video didn't record, so I am making a second cardigan. So we're going to align the center point of the sleeve, right sides together with the bodice. Okay, and we are going to do the same thing on the other side. So we will start here at the bottom and stitch all the way around on both sides. We now have our sleeves attached, and the next thing we're going to do is sew the side seam. So we're going to fold this right sides together. And then once you get to the color blocking piece here, just take a second and make sure that those are aligning up really well. So now we're going to take this over to our machine and we're going to stitch all the way around the side seam. When you get to this pocket area, you have, you know, the pocket is in the side here. So you want to push that in a little bit and pull your seam allowances out so that you get a really nice, so that they meet perfectly once you're finished. So just take care that you don't catch that pocket in there when you're sewing it together. Okay, so both side seams are sewn. You can see my pocket lines up perfectly here. One thing I wanted to note on the pocket is that if you're having trouble getting this to align properly, you can always go and just base this before you sew the seam together. That way you know that it'll align perfect at the top and bottom. Another thing is that if you sewed it and it's kind of crooked or off or something, you can just, you know, take out this little bit of stitches here on the top and bottom, open it up, you know, shift it a little bit, and you can go back in with your sewing machine and just sew back that so that it's a little bit more accurate. So now that we have that finished, we are going to sew our cuffs together. And we are going to place those right side together widthwise. Another little trick with the cuff, you can fold this widthwise and then again lengthwise, and then you'll sew just this edge. So that's the cuffs. While I'm over there, I'm also going to attach the neckband. So that is going to get placed right sides together. And we're going to just align one of these short ends so that it forms a long strip. And so I'm going to sew the end of this, and then I'm going to also sew one cuff this way so you can see that version, and then the other one this way so you can see how I do them both. Okay, so here are the two different versions of the cuffs. So on this one that we just sewed the one side, you're going to turn this right side out. And align the raw edges. Okay, and if you tried this version out, you're going to just open this up on one side and fold that around, and then it is perfectly aligned for you. Okay, so now we're going to add the cuffs to the sleeve. I am going to mark halfway point. I am making a child size 2, so if you're making an adult size, you may want to mark the quarter points. Do that on both sides. And we'll do the same thing with the cuff. Okay, and now we will just match up the two seams. We'll slide the sleeve through the cuff, right sides together. And we'll match up the seam here. And then we'll align the points on the other side. Okay, and you'll notice that the cuff is smaller than the sleeve, so when you sew, you're going to just slightly stretch this to fit. Do not stretch the sleeve, only the cuff. And I'm going to just go and stitch both of those together. I have both cuffs attached now, and we are going to attach the bottom band. So we are going to take this and fold it wrong sides together. And I'm going to find the center point of the band. And then I'm also going to find the center point of the cardigan. And now we are going to align the bottom band right sides together, starting at the two center points. And then I'm going to align the end. The band should fit perfectly without any stretching. Okay, so we'll just sew that whole bottom piece on. So now I have the bottom band attached. I did take this over to my iron and gave it a quick press, and I also top stitched this along the bottom. It's totally optional, so if you want to do it, you can. The last thing for us to do is to attach the neckband. So we are going to take the neckband and fold it right sides together on both ends, and we're going to just stitch this short end. We'll do the same thing on the other end. So I'll just stitch both of those ends. So I have those two ends of the band sewn. So now we're going to turn this and I am going to give this a quick press. So now I have that pressed, and we are going to find the center of the back neckline. And then we are going to attach the center of the band to that point. And then the next thing we're going to do is align each end. And then we're going to align the opposite side end. And then we're going to align this evenly without stretching the band up to the shoulder seam. Okay, so we are going to sew from the bottom all the way around. At the ends here, you might want to baste this together so that they align perfectly at the bottom. And then when you sew the neckband around the neckline, you're going to just slightly stretch it to fit, only stretching the band and not the neckline. So I'm going to go and sew that all the way around. Okay, so I went over and sewed the neckband on, and then after that I did top stitch. So there you have it. Don't forget to like and subscribe our channel so you don't miss out on our next sew along.